Court delays are increasing right across the province, causing some serious life-saving, changing cases being thrown out. Joining us today are Melanie Ng and Kate Alexander, domestic violence advocates and survivors. And thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having us.
There's a really important message, and I wish we had longer for this interview with both of you. We heard earlier from our Shauna Hunt, we heard a little bit from you, Kate, about your stories and what you hope to be coming up next. The backlogs that are happening in our court system are abysmal. And for both of you, it means surviving something that is unimaginable and having to live through that, something being thrown out. So let's go backwards a little bit and hear about your stories. I'm going to begin with you, Kate, if you're able to share a little bit about what you've been through.
I dated someone for 7 months during COVID in 2021, and the first 5 months were the very stereotypical blissful period. Love bombing, as it's been known to the public now, and by July 31st, 2021, I was nearly murdered, and he confined me to our upstairs part of our house in Leaside and nearly beat me to death with a wooden rolling pin. And I'm alive because I got a 2-word message off to a friend on my computer, and subsequently the police were eventually called. So, I mean, living through that harrowing experience, the Canadian SWAT team found me in pools of my own blood. I have photos, videos, all the evidence in the world that you could possibly need for a conviction. And in December 2022, after informing the prosecution and the police that they had not adhered to the Chapter 11B trial, speedy trial laws, that my case was going to be stayed.
I cannot even imagine that. Everything that you, first of all, were able to summarize in this moment, and I know there's so much more, but to think, okay, there's going to be movement with this. I will have some sort of justice, and for this to be just put away. I want to revisit this with you, Kate. Emily, can you please share your story? And then I want to speak to both of you about where things stand now.
In January 2022, I was raped in my own home by an acquaintance. After that, I did textbook everything that you can do. I went to the police. I went to Women's College Hospital to have a rape kit done. I provided an initial testimony or statement to police. And from there, my trial was scheduled for July 2023. And the first day that I arrived to the courthouse, they did not have a room for me. So they told me to go home. And the following day I arrived again, same situation, go home, Emily, there's no room for you. The final day that trial was set to happen, I had my time in court and I testified and was cross-examined, and the judge said, I'd like to hear this case out, but the earliest next available dates were in November, which put us out of the Jordan timeframe.
This 18-month period in which things basically need to happen or else they somewhat go away.
Within the provincial level of court, it's 18 months for the provincial level of court from the day that the charges were laid, and then 30 months in federal level. And I've had 2 sets of charges. One was proceeded on by indictment in the federal level of court. That was also stayed. I received a peace bond for my attempted murder.
First of all, thank you both for sharing this, because you are both incredibly brave and strong to be able to share on this platform about something that needs to be done. You said something in your news conference that really stuck with me. We talked about this just before we went on air. You said this one statement about being a victim, but it's not just a victim of your attacker. What did you say?
I am a survivor of nearly lethal domestic violence, and I am a victim of the Canadian justice system, and I air quote that because there is no justice. Under the current laws, civilians aren't safe. our perpetrators are free to repeat offend, which they most of the time do. There needs to be more education on the psychology behind all of this. And now I am concerned about other women. I'm concerned about my ex's 13-year-old son. I'm speaking on behalf of Canadians because I feel like Chapter 11B is not well known, and I'm speaking to alert and make aware how abhorrent the system is.
Some of the reasoning behind the backlogs being not having the bodies to do it, the pandemic, the list goes on, and then there's the money behind it all. We just saw the provincial budget being released, and this not necessarily being addressed as part of it, funding going toward it. So for both of you, this is a massive story, and this will not change overnight, unfortunately. What, though, can be done now for both of you? Emily, what do you think? To help yourself and others for the future?
I think a big thing is being aware of Section 11B and the Jordan decision, because for me, I didn't even know about that. The first time that I was learning about it was when my charges were stayed. And so I think it's important to know, if you are going through the justice system, to know the day that the individual was charged and count out 18 months and advocate for yourself. Like, push as hard as you can. Kate even did that, and we're still in this position.
I told them. I said you're not within the Jordan time frame, and they missed the deadline by 10 days or something, and my attempted murder tossed.
10 days,
10 days.
Making the difference.
Something, it's around 10 days, yeah.
I do wish we had even more time to speak with both of you. I want to thank you so much for joining today and advocating, because clearly something needs to change. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.